Okay, where my Asians at? Oh, front row. Just like high school all over again. Where my queers at? Amazing, I haven't been canceled yet. Where my straight white guys at? Oh, there you go. Oh, hiding behind your Asian girlfriend. I can still see you, white people's skin so reflective. This is my 20-year anniversary of doing stand-up comedy. I was recently at one of my friend's 20-year anniversaries, but it was a different anniversary. He was celebrating his 20-year wedding anniversary. During his speech, he was saying that he married his high school sweetheart. They met when they were in elementary school, and they got married after college. He was telling us all, in his entire life, he's never been with a single other person. I was like, oh my God, that is so amazingly tragic. Like, holy shit, dude, young love is not supposed to last. It is supposed to crash and burn so you learn how to overcome heartbreak. I'm pretty sure this is why they call it puppy love, because getting a puppy when you're young teaches you about death and how to overcome grief. But what if that puppy never died? Then all you learn is codependency. So to become a better, more complete, well-rounded person, you've got to let the dog die. Kill it if you must. It's for the greater good. As I was thinking about my 20-year anniversary of doing comedy helped me find my voice, and it helped me share the stories of my people and my community, which is all I've ever wanted to do. Growing up, my dad was the president of the Lao Association of Manitoba. He always really instilled in me how important it was to know my culture, to know where I came from. He was worried that I wasn't getting enough role models, especially in media. And he was right, because growing up, Asians are so underrepresented in media that the only yellow family on TV was The Simpsons. It's not like nowadays where young Asians have all these emojis to look up to. We and the Lao community, we created our own media. I didn't go to Britney Spears or Backstreet Boys concert. I went to my dad's concert. I didn't listen to Top 40 radio. I had a cassette tape of my uncle's band. Even though I didn't have the representation in media, I had a representation in my neighborhood. I grew up around very strong-minded Asians. My neighborhood, growing up, was almost entirely Asian. In elementary school, we only had one white kid. And we used to beat him up every day. Although, to be fair, after a while, he was more purple than white. My dad was actually so overboard with it that I was worried that it was becoming racist against non-Asians. I remember once I was out shopping for my two nephews. One of my nephews is fully Asian and the other nephew is half white. I was realizing that when I was shopping for my Asian nephew, I was super excited. When I was looking for gifts for my half white nephew, I was completely unmotivated. I was like, damn, am I so racist that I'm gonna punish an innocent little baby? Am I so scarred from a lifetime of systemic oppression that I can't love my own flesh and blood? This is crazy. So I don't want to think of myself as a monster. So I resist the urge to spend only half the money because he's only half Asian. And I buy both nephews the same number of gifts, and I send it off to my sister. And so my sister sends me a photo of my two nephews wearing the sweaters I had purchased them. And when I looked at the photo, I had an epiphany. Because see, up until that point, my Asian nephew was clearly the cuter of the two babies. But now looking at this photo, I could see my half-white nephew had finally grown out of his awkward phase and was now equally as cute. So I realized I never hated him because he's a white baby. I hate him because he's an ugly baby. Shit, I'm not racist, I'm superficial. Thank goodness. No wonder I didn't want to buy gifts for an ugly baby. That's just a bad investment. I grew up in Winnipeg, which, if you don't know, is the murder capital of Canada. It's also the violent crimes capital of Canada. And even more so, my neighborhood specifically was nicknamed Murder Lane because we had the most murders per capita of any neighborhood in Canada. How should I tell some of my Toronto friends once? Like, when I was young, I had 5 bicycles stolen as a kid. And my Toronto friends always ask me the same thing. They're like, Vaughn, why didn't you just lock up your bicycle? I was like, lock up my bike? You think they gave me a chance to lock up my bike? No. Here's how it happens in the ghetto. They will wait for you at the intersection, usually behind a bush or something. They'll wait for you to slow down. Then they'll run up behind you, take a stick. They poked it in my wheel. I launched off the bicycle. Then I hit the pavement. And then they run off with my bicycle while I'm on the ground crying and bleeding. Lock up my bike? I wish. It was getting so rough in my neighborhood. I grew up in the middle of a 5-way gang war. The police, they just weren't paying attention to our neighborhood. They weren't protecting us. So for our own protection, a lot of my friends and even family, my brother, joined gangs for protection. The sad thing about this was then they started partaking in illegal activities. Even to this day, half my friends are drug dealers. If you find me after the show, I will hook you up with the good shit. But unfortunately, we were getting a lot of bad press, specifically the Lao community. We started to be associated with crime and gang warfare. Anytime you saw us in the newspapers for committing a crime, I was a bit of an overachiever when I was young. So when I started to show any type of potential at all, my community thought it could be good PR. So they put me in all these different lessons, like artwork, photography, writing, and then they'd enter me into the most obscure-ass competitions. Like, shit, I am the Winnipeg typing champion. By the time I was in grade 6, I was typing 125 words a minute at 99.8% accuracy. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying it on stage now to save you the trouble of asking me later.